like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready to explore someone amazing. You might know the name Tesla from those electric cars or maybe from school, but this is different. We've got articles, stories, even stuff Tesla himself wrote, and wow, the details are incredible. Born during a thunderstorm. Yep. Photographic memory. Oh, yeah. A plan to power the whole world wirelessly. Absolutely. So get ready. This deep dive is going to be electrifying.
It really is amazing how Tesla's story just grabs you. He was this brilliant guy, kind of eccentric, wrestled with ideas way ahead of their time.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so cool. We're not just listing inventions. We're figuring out why he's famous. How did his ideas actually change things? What can we learn from his good times and bad?
I think people forget just how big Tesla's vision was.
Yeah.
He didn't want small improvements. He wanted to completely change how we use energy, like understand it differently.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Imagine this July 10th, 1856, a small village thunderstorm raging outside, and right then, bam, Nikola Tesla is born.
It's almost too perfect, right? This dramatic entrance during a literal electric storm sets the stage for his whole life.
You got that right. And his nickname, the Child of Light, makes even more sense when you see his work. It makes you wonder, was this destiny or just coincidence?
It's the question biographers and historians ask all the time. Was he meant for this? But no matter what, Tesla was fascinated by nature, especially electricity. It drove him.
And here's another cool thing. Tesla had a photographic memory and could see complex machines in his head.
Think about that. He could build and test inventions in his mind. Totally different from how most people did things back then.
Almost like he had VR in his brain. But even with all that, Tesla's path wasn't always easy. He started at a big university but never finished his degree.
Challenge is what we think of as genius, right? School's important, but Tesla shows us brilliance can be different. His real education was never giving up on learning and always wanted to experiment.
And that probably came from his childhood. His mom, Duca Tesla, was kind of an inventor herself, always making tools and gadgets to help out around the house. Innovation must run in the family.
Right. Imagine how that affected young Nikola. Seeing his mom be so creative must have sparked his own curiosity and problem solving.
For sure. So we have this young Tesla, tons of ideas, wants to learn everything, but the world is about to change big time.
Things were moving fast back then. Lots of new technology. And the war of the currents was starting.
So you have Thomas Edison on one side saying direct current, or DC, is the way to power everything, and Tesla on the other, convinced that alternating current AC was the future. But this wasn't just science. It was about who would control the way the world would be powered.
And to get why Tesla loved AC so much, we got to look at DC's problems. It couldn't go far. That meant power plants had to be close to everything, which limited them.
But Tesla saw something different. He knew AC could change voltage easily, perfect for sending power long distances without losing much. It was a total game changer.
Exactly. And that's where this war gets interesting. Tesla wasn't just competing. He was solving a huge problem. How to make electricity work practically for everyone. He saw a world where power could be made in one place and sent everywhere.
And that led him to team up with George Westinghouse, a businessman who believed in AC. Together, they were going to shake things up.
And most people don't get how huge this shift to AC was. It changed everything allowed for the power grids we use today.
It's crazy to think all this started with something people thought was dangerous. And a big moment that proved AC worked was at Niagara Falls.
In 1893, the world watched as the first big hydroelectric power plant using AC started making electricity from the falls.
Can you picture that? Using this powerful natural wonder to make energy all thanks to Tesla.
It was like engineering art and a win for Tesla's vision. The Niagara Falls plant showed AC could make and send tons of power, setting the stage for the whole world to have electricity.
And it's not just the tech, it's what it did for people. Electricity changed industries, homes, how we even spend our free time.
Oh, absolutely. Tesla's work wasn't just lights, it was progress. It helped cities grow, sparked new inventions, and changed how we live, work, everything.
It's a big deal. But our deep dive is just starting. Next, we're going to check out the Tesla coil and see how it connects to the wireless stuff we use all the time.
And as we keep going, you'll see Tesla's story is full of surprises, smart thinking, and ideas that still shape our world.
Back again for the deep dive. Last time we saw how Tesla won at Niagara Falls, proving AC could work. It's hard to imagine life without it, right? But Tesla always had new ideas, and one of them led to an invention almost as famous as him, the Tesla coil.
Yeah, the Tesla coil, it's interesting because it shows both how dramatic and how scientific Tesla was. On the one hand, it makes these awesome sparks of electricity you can see even today.
It's like straight out of a movie. But behind that is tech that really pushed what we could do with electricity and magnetism. And that's why this deep dive is so cool. We go deeper than just the surface to see what the Tesla coil really meant.
It wasn't about making light shows. It was a tool for Tesla to try out high-frequency AC and what it could do. And doing that, he found something huge: sending energy wirelessly.
Hold on, wirelessly. You mean it wasn't just sparks, but the start of stuff like Wi-Fi and charging without cords?
Exactly. That's where it started.
Yeah.
He showed that energy could go through the air, no wires needed. Think about what that means. He was basically starting the stuff we use every day now.
Mind-blowing when you think he was doing this over 100 years ago. It's like that child of light thing again. He wasn't just using electricity, he was changing how we even think about it.
And this leads us to Tesla's biggest and maybe most misunderstood project, the Wardenclyffe Tower.
Okay, try to picture this. A huge tower, 187 feet tall on Long Island. This was Tesla's dream, to send power wirelessly everywhere. Imagine a world with no power lines, just energy beamed anywhere.
It was a world totally connected energy for everyone, no matter where. It was bold, radical, and, well, kind of sad in the end.
Sad. Why didn't it work? Was it just too early for the tech?
The tech was tough, for sure. But that wasn't all. Money problems, investors getting scared, and honestly, the world just wasn't ready for something that big.
But he was too far ahead. People couldn't understand, and we didn't have the stuff to make it happen.
That's how it is with visionaries. They see what others can't. And sometimes people push back, don't believe, or even laugh at them.
Makes you think if Tesla had more help, more money, could Wardenclyffe have worked?
People still argue about that today. Could he really send power around the world? We don't know. But what's for sure is that Tesla's vision led to the wireless stuff we use without thinking.
It's crazy that the ideas behind Wardenclyffe, even though it failed, started things like satellites, wireless internet, even charging pads for our phones.
He might not have finished Wardenclyffe, but his work kept going, influencing people who came after him to keep pushing wireless tech forward.
Shows that progress isn't always straight. Sometimes the failures, the things that don't work, those lead to the best inventions later.
So true. And we can't talk about Tesla without talking about one of the biggest arguments about his work. Who invented the radio?
Right. Everyone thinks it was Marconi, but there's more to it. What really happened?
Well, Marconi was definitely important to radio, but people forget about Tesla. He had patents for important radio parts, including the Tesla coil, years before Marconi's big transatlantic transmission in 1901.
So you're saying Tesla was a big part of how radio started?
No doubt. And in 1943, the Supreme Court said Tesla's patents were valid. They basically said he was key to inventing the radio. It was a win for Tesla, but sadly it came after he died. Shows how much trouble he had getting credit for his work.
It's a pattern, right? Tesla was brilliant, but things always got in the way of money problems or just that his ideas were too big.
It makes you think, what else could he have done with more support, more understanding from the world?
And it wasn't just radio. Tesla had tons of ideas, all kinds of fields. He worked on mechanical stuff, x-rays, remote control, even things like robots and renewable energy. It's like he couldn't stop exploring and pushing what humans could do.
He was a total polymath, someone who knew a lot about tons of things, and that's something you see in a lot of big inventors. It's being able to connect different ideas to see things others don't.
It's like he was always asking, what else can we do? What else is out there? But all that searching for answers, it wasn't always easy.
No. As Tesla got older, things got tougher. Less money, being alone, and feeling like the world just didn't get him.
Kind of sad. A super smart guy with amazing ideas, struggling to be understood.
Makes you think even genius doesn't mean life is easy. And for Tesla, that's definitely true.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
So as we get into Tesla's later years, it's kind of sad how things change. He goes from success and inventions to like struggling and being alone.
Yeah, it's like a warning that just being smart doesn't mean life is easy. Tesla, even with all his ideas and smarts, things got hard for him.
Right. We talked about his money problems, but it was more than that. He started staying away from people, had trouble getting anyone to invest in his big projects.
And his ideas that everyone loved before people started doubting them or saying they were crazy. It's like the world couldn't keep up with him.
He was living in the future, basically thinking about things that were just too much for people back then. But even then, he never stopped working, always trying new things.
He got into radar weapons that used particles, even thought about getting energy from space. He never stopped being curious, always thought science could solve anything.
It's like he left clues for us, things that we'd figure out later. And he was right.
Tesla's become famous again in the last few decades. His name used to be forgotten. Now it means new technology and pushing science forward.
It's crazy how time changes things. The same ideas people laughed at are now seen as amazing ahead of their time.
Look at Tesla, the car company named after him. They're like the future of cars and being green.
Yeah.
It's kind of fitting that his name is on something that shows what he believed in.
And it's not just cars. Tesla's everywhere in wireless stuff, renewable energy. He's still inspiring people today to see what's possible.
It shows what a powerful mind can do. Tesla's story reminds us that real genius isn't just making new things. It's imagining a better future and making others want it too.
Thinking back on all this, I keep seeing Tesla as this guy from another time. Someone brilliant, but with ideas the world wasn't ready for.
Maybe that's what visionaries are. They see past what we can do now and imagine things we can't even think of.
It makes you wonder what he'd think of us now. We have so much tech he helped start. Would he be happy or sad about how we use it?
We can only guess. But I think he'd tell us to use these tools carefully, to think about what they can do, good and bad, and to always try to make the world better.
That's something to remember, especially now when things are changing so fast. Tesla shows us that progress can be good and bad. It can fix problems, but it can also mess things up.
It's on us to use this power the right way, to build a future that's smart and safe, one that shows how awesome Tesla was.
Well, that's all for our deep dive into Nikola Tesla. We hope you learned something new about his genius, his struggles, and how much his ideas still affect us.
Thanks for coming along with us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop innovating.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them